The arrival. The sky above New Shanghai blazed with an unnatural light, casting long shadows across the bustling metropolis. Captain Maya Chen squinted against the glare, her hand instinctively tightening on the grip of her pulse rifle. 20 years in Earth's United Defense Force hadn't prepared her for this moment. Status report, she barked into her comm, trying to keep the tension from her voice. The chatter of her squad filled her ears, a mix of awe and fear coloring their words. Multiple bogies, Cap, came the steady voice of her second-in-command, Lieutenant Raj Patel. I count at least 5 capital ships entering low orbit. Nothing like we've ever seen before. Maya's eyes tracked the looming shapes descending through the atmosphere. The alien vessels defied conventional design, all sweeping curves and pulsing energy fields. They moved with an eerie grace that sent a chill down her spine. All units, maintain position, she ordered, her mind racing through contingencies. We don't know if they're hostile. Let's not give them a reason to be. The city around them had fallen into an uneasy hush. Civilians peered from windows and doorways, their faces a mix of fear and fascination. Maya couldn't blame them. Humanity had long debated the existence of alien life, but no one had truly been prepared for this moment. As the ships drew closer, Maya could make out intricate patterns etched into their hulls, glowing with an inner light. The largest vessel, easily the size of a small town, came to a halt directly above the city's central plaza. A thrumming vibration filled the air, setting teeth on edge and making the ground tremble beneath their feet. "Incoming transmission," shouted the comms officer, his voice crackling with static. It's in English." Maya's eyebrows shot up. "Put it through," she commanded, bracing herself for whatever came next. A voice, smooth and androgynous, filled the airwaves. "People of Earth, we come seeking sustenance. Your world has been chosen. Prepare yourselves." The message repeated, its ominous simplicity sending a wave of murmurs through the gathered forces. Maya's mind raced. Sustenance. What did that mean? Before she could ponder further, a brilliant beam of light erupted from the underside of the main ship. It swept across the plaza, engulfing civilians and soldiers alike. Maya watched in horror as people simply vanished. "Open fire," she roared, her training kicking in. The air filled with the sizzle of energy weapons and the staccato of traditional firearms. But the beams seemed to pass harmlessly through the alien vessel's shimmering shields. "Fall back," Maya ordered, gesturing frantically for her troops to seek cover. "We need heavier ordnance. Someone get me a down tank." But it was too late. The beams swept towards them, an unstoppable tide of light. Maya felt a strange tingling sensation wash over her body. The world around her began to fade, replaced by a swirling vortex of color and sound. The last thing she heard before consciousness slipped away was the alien voice, now seeming to come from inside her own head. "Your energy will sustain us. Resistance is delicious." Maya awoke to darkness and the acrid smell of ozone. Her head pounded, and every muscle in her body screamed in protest as she tried to move. Slowly, painfully, she forced her eyes open. She found herself in a vast chamber, its walls pulsing with the same ethereal light she'd seen on the alien ships. All around her, she could make out the forms of other humans, soldiers and civilians alike, lying unconscious or just beginning to stir. "Lieutenant Patel," she croaked, her throat dry and raw. "Anyone from my squad?" A groan to her left caught her attention. She turned to see Raj pushing himself up on shaky arms. "Captain, what happened?" "We've been taken," Maya replied grimly, forcing herself to her feet. She swayed for a moment, fighting a wave of dizziness. "Abducted by the aliens. We need tow." Her words were cut short by a low, rumbling sound. The floor beneath them began to vibrate, and the light in the chamber intensified. Maya's eyes widened as she saw the walls moving, shifting and reconfiguring like some bizarre, living architecture. An opening appeared, and through it strode a figure that defied easy description. It was vaguely humanoid, but taller and more slender than any human. Its skin shimmered with an iridescent sheen, and its eyes, all four of them, glowed with an inner light. The alien's gaze swept over the assembled humans, and Maya felt a chill run down her spine. There was intelligence in those eyes, yes, but also an otherworldly hunger that made her skin crawl. "Welcome," the alien said, its voice the same smooth tones they'd heard in the transmission. "I am Zixlith, Harvester Prime of the Kulari Collective. You have been chosen to serve a greater purpose." Maya stepped forward, placing herself between the alien and the other humans. "We didn't choose anything," she growled. "You attacked us, abducted us. Release us immediately." Zixlith's head tilted to one side, an unsettlingly human gesture. "Attacked? No, we have saved you. Your species teeters on the brink of self-destruction. We offer you transcendence." "Transcendence?" Raj spat, coming to stand beside Maya. "By turning us into food." A wriggle passed through Zixlith's body. Laughter, Maya realized with growing unease. "Not food, no, you misunderstand. We do not consume flesh. We feed on something far more essential." The alien glided forward, its movements liquid and graceful. "Your kind possesses a unique energy, a vibrant life force that burns brighter than any we have encountered. This energy sustains us, allows us to traverse the vast gulfs between stars." Maya's mind raced, trying to process the implications. "You're what? Energy vampires?" "A crude analogy," Zixlith replied, "but not entirely inaccurate. We require your essence to survive. In return, we offer you knowledge beyond your wildest dreams, technology that will propel your species to the stars. At the cost of our freedom," Maya countered, "our autonomy. You can't honestly expect us to just roll over and let you feed on us." The alien's eyes narrowed, and Maya felt a pressure building in her head. "You speak as if you have a choice, little one. Your weapons cannot harm us. Your defenses are meaningless. You will serve the collective, willingly or not." With a gesture, Zixlith caused tendrils of energy to erupt from the walls. They snaked towards the gathered humans, who cried out in fear and pain as the tendrils latched onto them. Maya watched in horror as her people began to glow, their life force visibly draining away. "Stop," she shouted, lunging forward, but invisible forces held her back, leaving her helpless to intervene. "You're killing them." Zixlith turned its unsettling gaze upon her. "Death is a small price to pay for the advancement of the collective, but fear not, Captain Chen. You and your lieutenant have been chosen for a special purpose." Before Maya could respond, a wave of dizziness washed over her. She stumbled, feeling her consciousness slipping away once more. The last thing she saw was Zixlith looming over her, its eyes burning with an insatiable hunger. "Sleep now, little one," the alien's voice echoed in her mind. "When you awaken, your true purpose will be revealed." As darkness claimed her, Maya clung to a single thought: this isn't over. Humanity wouldn't go down without a fight, and somehow, someway, she would find a way to turn the tables on their alien captors. The fate of the entire human race now rested on her shoulders, and Captain Maya Chen had no intention of letting them down. Inside the alien hive, Maya awoke with a start, her heart pounding and her mind reeling from fragmented nightmares. The air around her hummed with an otherworldly energy that made her skin tingle. As her eyes adjusted to the dim, pulsating light, she realized she was no longer in the vast chamber where she'd first encountered Zixlith. This new space was smaller, more confined. The walls seemed to breathe, expanding and contracting with a slow, hypnotic rhythm. Maya tried to move, only to find her limbs restrained by some invisible force. "Easy, Captain," came a familiar voice from nearby. "I don't think they want us going anywhere." Maya turned her head to see Lieutenant Raj Patel similarly restrained a few feet away. His normally immaculate uniform was torn and stained, but his eyes burned with a determination that gave Maya a flicker of hope. "Raj," she said, her voice hoarse. "Status report. What's happened since we were taken?" Raj's expression darkened. "It's been hard to keep track of time in here, but I'd estimate we've been captive for about 72 hours. They've been experimenting on us, I think. Running tests. I've seen other humans brought in and out, but we seem to be getting special attention." Maya closed her eyes, trying to process this information. The memory of Zixlith's words echoed in her mind. "You and your lieutenant have been chosen for a special purpose." "Any sign of the rest of our squad?" she asked, already dreading the answer. Raj shook his head. "Nothing. We might be the only ones left." Before Maya could respond, a section of the wall rippled and parted, revealing a corridor beyond. 2 alien figures glided into the room, their bodies similar to Zixlith's but smaller, less imposing. They moved with an eerie synchronicity, their 4 eyes fixed unblinkingly on the human captives. One of the aliens raised a hand, and Maya felt the invisible restraints loosen. She immediately tried to stand, but her legs buckled beneath her, weak from disuse. "The Harvester Prime will see you now," one of the aliens said, its voice a sibilant whisper in Maya's mind rather than an audible sound. "Do not resist. It will only make the process more uncomfortable." Maya exchanged a quick glance with Raj. They both knew fighting now would be futile. Better to conserve their strength and look for an opportunity later. The aliens led them through a maze of corridors, each pulsing with the same bioluminescent energy they'd seen before. Maya tried to memorize the route, but the pathways seemed to shift and change with each step. It was like trying to navigate a living, breathing organism. Finally, they emerged into a vast chamber that seemed to be the heart of the alien hive. Tendrils of energy crisscrossed the space, connecting to pods that lined the walls. With a sickening jolt, Maya realized each pod contained a human, their bodies glowing faintly as their life force was slowly drained away. At the center of it all stood Zixlith, its imposing form radiating power and an otherworldly hunger. The Harvester Prime turned to face them, its 4 eyes gleaming with anticipation. "Ah, our special guests," Zixlith said, its voice reverberating through Maya's mind. "I trust you found your accommodations adequate." Maya bit back a retort, knowing that antagonizing their captor wouldn't help their situation. Instead, she forced herself to remain calm, to think like the soldier she was trained to be. "Why are we here?" she asked, her voice steady despite the fear churning in her gut. "What makes us different from the others?" Zixlith's body rippled in that unsettling approximation of laughter. "Direct. I appreciate that in a species. Very well, I shall explain." The alien glided closer, its presence oppressive and overwhelming. "Your kind possesses a unique energy, as I've said before, but you burn brighter than the rest. Your life force is potent, concentrated. You could sustain dozens of my kind for years. So why not just drain us dry and be done with it?" Raj asked, his voice tight with barely contained anger. "Because that would be wasteful," Zixlith replied. "No, you two represent an opportunity. A chance to create a renewable source of energy." Maya felt a chill run down her spine. What he's saying? Zixlith's eyes seemed to bore into her very soul. "We've studied your biology, your genetic code. With the right modifications, we believe we can turn you into living batteries, perpetual sources of the energy we crave." The implications hit Maya like a physical blow. To be transformed, to lose her very humanity and become nothing more than a power source for these alien parasites, it was a fate worse than death. "You can't do this," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "We won't let you." Zixlith's body pulsed with amusement. "Your consent is not required, little one. The process has already begun." As if on cue, Maya felt a searing pain erupt in her chest. She doubled over, gasping for air. Beside her, Raj let out a strangled cry, his body convulsing. "The changes will be gradual at first," Zixlith explained, its voice maddeningly calm. Your bodies must be prepared to handle the increased energy output. It will be uncomfortable, but in time, you will adapt. You will transcend your limited human forms and become something greater. Maya forced herself to look up, meeting Zixlith's alien gaze. You're wrong, she managed to say through gritted teeth. Humanity isn't weak. We won't submit. The pain intensified, and Maya felt consciousness slipping away. But before darkness claimed her, she saw something flicker across Zixlith's features. Was it concern? Doubt? As Maya collapsed to the floor, her mind racing even as her body failed her, she clung to that moment of uncertainty. It was a weakness, however small, and weaknesses could be exploited. She wouldn't give up. She couldn't. The fate of her species depended on it. Hours or days later, time had lost all meaning in this alien hellscape. Maya found herself back in the smaller chamber with Raj. The pain had subsided to a dull ache, but she could feel the changes happening within her body. Her skin seemed to glow faintly, and she felt a strange buzzing energy coursing through her veins. We need to find a way out of here, Raj said, his voice weak but determined, before they complete whatever they're doing to us. Maya nodded, her mind racing through possibilities. They've let their guard down a bit. They think we're too weak to resist. We need to use that to our advantage. As they spoke in hushed tones, formulating plans and discarding them just as quickly, Maya noticed something strange. The wall nearest to her seemed to flicker. It was subtle, almost imperceptible, but it was there. Raj, she whispered, look at the wall. Do you see that? The lieutenant squinted, then his eyes widened. It's glitching, like a faulty hologram or something. Maya's heart raced. This could be the opportunity they've been waiting for. They said they were modifying us, right? Making us more like them. What if? She didn't finish the thought. Instead, she closed her eyes and concentrated, focusing on the strange energy she felt within her. She imagined it flowing outward, interacting with the alien technology around them. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, with a sound like shattering glass, a portion of the walls simply disappeared. Holy shit, Raj breathed. How did you do that? Maya shook her head, equally amazed. I don't know, but let's not waste this chance. Come on. They stumbled to their feet, still weak from their ordeal, but driven by a desperate need to escape. They made their way through the opening, finding themselves in yet another twisting corridor. Which way? Raj asked, looking around frantically. Maya closed her eyes again, trying to tap into that same energy she'd used before. She felt a pull, a subtle tugging sensation leading them. Down. This way, she said, her voice filled with a confidence she didn't entirely feel. I think I can sense a way out. They moved as quickly as their battered bodies would allow, following Maya's instincts through the labyrinthine structure. Twice they had to duck into alcoves to avoid patrolling aliens, and once Maya had to use her newfound abilities to create another glitch in a sealed doorway. Finally, after what felt like hours of tense, careful navigation, they found themselves in a vast hangar-like space. Sleek, organic-looking vessels, clearly designed for atmospheric flight, lined the walls. We need to steal one of those, Raj said, his eyes gleaming with renewed hope. Get back to Earth, warn them about what's happening here. Maya nodded, but before they could move towards the nearest ship, a familiar voice froze them in their tracks. Impressive, Zixlith said, materializing from the shadows. You've adapted to your changes far more quickly than we anticipated, but did you really think we wouldn't be monitoring you? A dozen smaller aliens appeared, surrounding Maya and Raj. The humans stood back to back, tensed for a fight they knew they couldn't win. It's over, Zixlith continued. You've proven your worth as test subjects, but now it's time to complete the process. Soon, you'll be begging to serve the collective. Maya felt despair threatening to overwhelm her. They'd come so close, only to fail at the final hurdle. But as she looked at the alien ships, an idea began to form. A desperate, crazy idea, but one born of the same human ingenuity that had gotten them this far. "You're right," she said, forcing her voice to remain steady. "It is over, but not for us." Before anyone could react, Maya reached deep within herself, tapping into the wellspring of energy the aliens had awakened. She focused all of it, every ounce of power she could muster, and directed it at the nearest ship. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, with a sound like thunder, the ship's engines roared to life. Energy crackled around it, building to a crescendo. "What are you doing?" Zixlith demanded, its usual composure cracking. Maya managed a grim smile. "Showing you why it's a bad idea to give humans power we don't understand. Raj, get down." The lieutenant dropped to the floor just as Maya released her hold on the energy. The alien ship exploded in a blinding flash of light and sound, the shockwave throwing everyone, human and alien alike, to the ground. In the chaos that followed, Maya grabbed Ray's arm and pulled him towards another ship. Alarms blared, and she could hear Zixlith shouting orders, but it all faded into background noise as they clambered into the alien vessel. "Do you know how to fly this thing?" Rage asked as they strapped themselves in. Maya's hands flew over the unfamiliar controls, guided by instinct and the strange connection she now felt to the alien technology. "Not a clue, but I'm sure as hell going to try." The ship hummed to life beneath them, responding to Maya's touch in a way that felt almost eager, as if it too longed for freedom. With a final burst of desperate energy, Maya willed the ship to move. It shot forward, crashing through the hangar's energy barrier and out into open space beyond. Behind them, the alien mothership loomed, a vast, terrifying presence. But ahead lay the endless expanse of stars, and somewhere among them, Earth. "We made it," Raj said, his voice filled with awe and disbelief. Maya allowed herself a small smile, even as she wrestled with the unfamiliar controls. "We're not out of this yet, Lieutenant, but we've got a fighting chance now. And we're going to take that chance all the way home." As they rocketed away from their prison, leaving the stunned aliens in their wake, Maya felt a surge of something she hadn't experienced since this nightmare began: hope. They had escaped. They had survived. And now, armed with knowledge of the threat facing humanity and newfound powers they were only beginning to understand, they had a chance to turn the tables on their would-be conquerors. The real battle was just beginning. But for the first time, Maya believed they could win. A desperate alliance. The stolen alien vessel hurtled through space, its organic hull vibrating with barely contained energy. Inside the cockpit, Captain Maya Chen gripped the unfamiliar controls, her knuckles white with tension. Beside her, Lieutenant Raj Patel worked furiously to decipher the ship's systems, his eyes darting between holographic displays that flickered and shifted with alien symbols. "Any luck with the communications array?" Maya asked, her voice strained as she focused on navigating the vast emptiness around them. Raj shook his head, frustration evident in his furrowed brow. "It's like trying to read a book written in smoke. Every time I think I've got it figured out, the system reconfigures itself." Maya bit back a curse. They had escaped the Kulari mothership, but freedom meant little if they couldn't warn Earth about the impending threat. And with each passing moment, she could feel the strange energy within her growing stronger, more insistent. "We need to find a way to." Maya's words were cut short as a violent tremor shook the ship. Warning lights flashed across the console, bathing the cockpit in an eerie red glow. "What the hell was that?" Reg exclaimed, his fingers flying over the controls. Maya's eyes widened as she saw the source of their trouble. A sleek, predatory craft had appeared seemingly out of nowhere, its weapons primed and locked onto their position. "Looks like the Kulari sent a welcoming committee," Maya growled, throwing their ship into a series of evasive maneuvers. The alien vessel responded to her commands with an almost intuitive grace, as if it could anticipate her intentions before she even formed them. Energy beams lanced through the void, narrowly missing their hull. Maya could feel the heat of near misses even through the ship's advanced shielding. "We can't outrun them forever," Raj said, his voice tight with tension. "And I don't think this ship has any weapons we can use." Maya's mind raced, searching for a solution. Then, unbidden, she felt a surge of that alien energy within her. An idea formed, dangerous, possibly suicidal, but that only chance. "Raj, take the controls," she ordered, unbuckling her restraints. "What? Where are you going?" "To even the odds," Maya replied grimly. She made her way to the rear of the ship, where a sort of airlock connected to a small chamber she suspected was meant for exterior repairs or possibly boarding actions. Placing her hand on the chamber's control panel, Maya closed her eyes and focused. She could feel the ship's systems responding to her touch, to the alien energy that now coursed through her veins. With a thought, the outer doors began to cycle open. The vacuum of space should have killed her instantly. Instead, Maya felt a shimmering field of energy envelop her body, protecting her from the deadly void. She stepped out onto the hull of the ship, the stars wheeling dizzyingly around her. The pursuing Kulari vessel loomed larger now, closing in for the kill. Maya raised her hands, channeling every ounce of power she could muster. Energy crackled between her fingertips, building to a blinding crescendo. With a primal scream that was swallowed by the silence of space, Maya released the pent-up energy. A lance of pure power erupted from her hands, streaking across the darkness to slam into the Kulari ship. The alien vessel's shields flared and failed, and secondary explosions rippled across its hull. Maya watched in awe and horror as the ship that had been hunting them only moments before began to break apart, venting atmosphere and debris into the void. She had done that. With powers she barely understood, she had destroyed an advanced alien warship. The implications were staggering, and for a moment, Maya felt a flicker of fear. What was she becoming? What had the Kulari truly done to her and Raj? A sudden wave of exhaustion washed over her, and Maya felt her protective field beginning to weaken. She stumbled back into the airlock, barely managing to seal it before collapsing to the floor. Razor's voice came over the ship's internal comm system, tinged with worry and awe. "Maya, what the hell just happened out there?" "I'm not entirely sure," she replied weakly, struggling to her feet. "But I think we just got a glimpse of why the Kulari are so interested in us." As Maya made her way back to the cockpit on unsteady legs, her mind raced with the implications of what had just occurred. The power she had wielded was beyond anything humans had ever achieved. It was the kind of energy that could reshape worlds, traverse the gulfs between stars. And the Kulari wanted to harvest it from humanity. "We need to get back to Earth," Maya said as she slumped into her seat. "Now more than ever. Whatever's happening to us, whatever we're becoming, the whole human race could be at risk." Raj nodded grimly, his fingers dancing over the controls with growing confidence. "I think I'm starting to get a handle on the navigation systems. If I'm reading this right, we're about 3 days out from Earth at our current speed." Maya closed her eyes, reaching out with her newfound senses. She could feel the ship around them, its systems humming with barely contained power. And beyond that, her eyes snapped open. "We don't have 3 days. The Kulari fleet is on the move. I can sense them somehow. They're preparing for a full-scale invasion." "How is that possible?" Raj asked, his voice filled with disbelief. "They couldn't have that many ships hidden in our solar system. We would have detected them." Maya shook her head, struggling to put into words the impressions flooding her mind. "They're using some kind of faster-than-light technology. Wormholes, maybe. They can bring their entire armada to bear in a matter of hours." The gravity of the situation settled over them like a shroud. Humanity was woefully unprepared for the coming onslaught. Even with the advancements made since the Nexus War a decade ago, Earth's defenses were nothing compared to the kind of firepower the Kulari could bring to bear. "We need to find a way to boost our speed," Maya said, her voice hardening with determination. "And we need to figure out how to use the ship's communication systems. Earth needs to be warned." As if in response to her words, a new holographic display sprang to life before them. Alien symbols swirled and coalesced, gradually resolving into recognizable patterns. Raj leaned forward, his eyes widening. I think the ship is adapting to us. It's learning English. Maya felt a surge of hope. Can we send a message? Ray's fingers flew over the controls, and a moment later he nodded. I think so, but we can only manage a short burst transmission, and there's no guarantee anyone will be able to receive or decrypt it. It's better than nothing, Maya said. She took a deep breath, composing her thoughts. This is Captain Maya Chen of the Earth Defense Force. Earth is in imminent danger. A hostile alien force known as the Kulari is preparing for full-scale invasion. They possess technology far beyond our own and seek to harvest humanity for energy. Prepare all defenses. We are en route with critical intelligence. Authentication code: Sierra Tango 97 Zulu. Raj sent the message, and they watched as the transmission indicator pulsed once, twice, and then faded. There was no way to know if anyone had received it, no way to know if their warning would reach Earth in time. Now what? Raj asked, the weight of their responsibility clear in his voice. Maya's response was cut off by a sudden, searing pain that ripped through her body. She doubled over, gasping for breath. Through tear-blurred eyes, she saw Raj experiencing the same agony. What's happening to us? Raj managed to choke out. Maya fought through the pain, forcing herself to focus. She could feel the energy within her surging, changing, rewriting her very DNA, and with a shocking clarity, she understood. It's the next stage, she said through gritted teeth. Whatever the Kulari did to us, it's not finished. We're still evolving. As the pain reached a crescendo, Maya felt her consciousness expanding. Suddenly, she could sense every system in the ship, every current of energy flowing through its organic circuits. And beyond that, she could feel the vast tapestry of spacetime itself, the ebb and flow of cosmic forces. With a final wrenching spasm, the pain subsided. Maya opened her eyes to find the cockpit transformed. The holographic displays had vanished, replaced by a three-dimensional representation of space that seemed to exist in her mind as much as in physical reality. She turned to Raj, gasping as she saw him. His body glowed with an inner light, tendrils of energy curling around him like a living aura. A quick glance at her own hands showed the same otherworldly radiance. My God, Raj whispered, his voice filled with awe and fear. What have we become? Before Maya could respond, a new presence made itself known. It wasn't a physical sensation, but rather a pressure at the edges of her expanded consciousness. Something vast and ancient was reaching out to them. A voice unlike anything Maya had ever experienced resonated through her very being. It wasn't sound, but pure thought and emotion. Children of Earth, you who have tasted the power of the cosmos, we have felt your awakening. Maya and Raj exchanged startled glances. What are you? Maya asked, her words feeling clumsy and inadequate in the face of this vast intelligence. We are the guardians, shepherds of young races, watchers of the cosmic balance. Images flooded Maya's mind, impossible geometries, civilizations rising and falling across eons, the birth and death of stars. She saw the Kulari, not as the terrifying conquerors they had seemed, but as scared, desperate beings fleeing a dying universe. The harvesters seek to prolong their existence by consuming the potential of others, but in doing so, they disrupt the natural order. You, children of Earth, represent a new path, a chance for balance. Maya felt a surge of hope, tempered by caution. Can you help us? Can you stop the Kulari invasion? A sense of regret washed over her. We cannot intervene directly. The choice must be yours, but we can offer guidance and a gift. Suddenly, Maya understood the ship's faster-than-light capabilities. With her newfound connection to the fabric of spacetime, she could create a wormhole, a shortcut across the vast distances separating them from Earth. Use this knowledge wisely, the Guardians cautioned. The power you now wield can save your people or destroy them. The choice of how to use it rests with you. As quickly as it had come, the presence of the Guardians faded, leaving Maya and Raj alone with their transformed bodies and the weight of their new responsibility. "Did that really just happen?" Raj asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Maya nodded, her mind still reeling from the encounter. "I think we just got a glimpse of the bigger picture, and it's up to us to decide what to do with that knowledge." She turned to the swirling representation of space before them, focusing her will. A shimmering portal began to form, a tunnel through the very fabric of reality. "We're going home," Maya said, her voice filled with determination. "And we're going to save Earth, not just from the Quillari, but from becoming like them. We have a chance to show there's another way, a better way to exist in this universe." As their ship accelerated towards the wormhole, Maya felt the weight of destiny settling upon her shoulders. They were no longer just two humans fighting for survival. They had become something more, a bridge between worlds, a catalyst for change on a cosmic scale. The fate of humanity, and perhaps the entire galaxy, now rested in their hands. And as they plunged into the swirling vortex of the wormhole, Maya silently vowed to use her newfound power not for destruction, but for protection. Not for conquest, but for understanding. They would face the Quillari not just as defenders of Earth, but as harbingers of a new era. An era where humanity could take its place among the stars not as conquerors or victims, but as guardians of a delicate cosmic balance. The wormhole engulfed them, carrying them across impossible distances in the blink of an eye. Ahead lay Earth and the greatest challenge humanity had ever faced. But for the first time since this ordeal began, Maya felt truly ready to face whatever came next. They had the power, they had the knowledge, and most importantly, they had hope. The real battle for the future of humanity was about to begin. Escape and pursuit, humans fight back. The fabric of space-time rippled and tore as Maya and Raj's stolen Quillari vessel erupted from the wormhole. Earth hung before them, a blue marble suspended in the void, achingly beautiful and terrifyingly vulnerable. But the serene view was shattered by the sight that greeted them. The vast armada of Quillari ships filled near-Earth orbit, their sleek, organic forms a stark contrast to the remnants of humanity's space stations and defense platforms floating lifelessly around them. "We're too late," Raj whispered, his voice thick with despair. Maya's hands tightened on the controls, her newly enhanced senses reaching out to assess the situation. "No," she said firmly. "The invasion has begun, but Earth hasn't fallen. Not yet." She could feel the ebb and flow of energy across the planet's surface, the desperate struggles of humanity's defenders as they fought against an overwhelmingly superior force. But more than that, she sensed something else, a flickering, growing power emanating from scattered points around the globe. "There are others like us," Maya realized, her eyes widening. "The Quillari's experiments, their harvesting, it's having unintended consequences. Humans are evolving, awakening to new abilities." Before Raj could respond, their ship's sensors blared a warning. A squadron of Quillari fighters had broken off from the main fleet, streaking towards their position with deadly intent. "Hang on," Maya called out, her hands dancing over the controls with inhuman speed and precision. The ship responded instantly, diving and weaving through a barrage of energy blasts. Raj gripped his seat, his own nascent powers allowing him to interface directly with the ship's defensive systems. "Shields are holding, but we can't take much more of this. We need to find a safe place to land and regroup." Maya nodded grimly, her mind racing through possibilities. They couldn't risk leading the Quillari directly to Earth's remaining military strongholds, but they needed to make contact with what was left of the planet's leadership. A plan began to form in her mind. "I'm taking us in hot," she announced, angling the ship into a steep dive towards the planet's surface. "Get ready for a rough ride." The ship plummeted through Earth's atmosphere, its hull glowing white-hot from the friction. Behind them, several Quillari fighters followed, unwilling to give up their pursuit. Maya's enhanced senses allowed her to plot a course through the chaos of the ongoing invasion. She could see Quillari dropships descending on major cities, human military forces mounting desperate last stands, and pockets of strange energy where newly awakened humans were turning the tide in isolated battles. Their destination came into view, a seemingly abandoned military base nestled in the Rocky Mountains. Maya had a hunch that it was more than it appeared. "Brace for impact," she shouted as she brought the ship in for a barely controlled landing. The vessel skidded across the rocky terrain, carving a deep furrow before coming to a stop at the base of a sheer cliff face. Maya and Raj stumbled from the smoking wreckage, their bodies glowing with protective energy fields that had shielded them from the worst of the crash. Above them, the pursuing Quillari fighters circled like vultures. "Now what?" Raj asked, eyeing the sky warily. Maya placed her hand against the cliff face, reaching out with her newfound senses. "Now," she said with a grim smile, "we knock." Energy pulsed from her palm, resonating with hidden systems buried deep within the mountain. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, with a low rumble, a section of the cliff face began to slide away, revealing a cavernous opening. "I'll be damned," Raj breathed. "A secret base. How did you know?" "Call it a hunch," Maya replied. "Come on, we need tow." Her words were cut short as energy blasts from the Quillari fighters rained down around them. Maya raised her hands instinctively, and a shimmering dome of force sprang into existence, deflecting the attacks. "Go," she shouted to Raj. "Get inside. I'll hold them off." Raj hesitated for a split second before nodding and sprinting for the entrance. Maya turned her attention to the sky, drawing upon the cosmic power that now flowed through her veins. With a thought, she reached out and seized control of the gravitational forces around the Quillari ships. The fighters suddenly found themselves pulled in conflicting directions, their pilots struggling to maintain control. Two of the vessels slammed into each other in a spectacular explosion. A third spiraled away, trailing smoke and debris. The remaining fighters broke off their attack, retreating to the safety of their fleet. Maya allowed herself a moment of grim satisfaction before turning and running into the mountain base. The entrance sealed shut behind her with a resounding boom, plunging her into darkness. Lights flickered to life, revealing a vast, high-tech facility that looked like it had been hastily abandoned. Maya made her way deeper into the complex, following the sound of voices echoing from up ahead. She rounded a corner to find Raj surrounded by a group of haggard-looking military personnel, their weapons trained on him. At the center of the group stood a face Maya recognized instantly, General Elena Vasquez, one of Earth's top military leaders. "Stand down," Maya barked, her voice carrying an otherworldly resonance that made everyone in the room flinch. General Vasquez's eyes widened as she took in Maya's glowing form. "Captain Chen, is that really you?" Maya nodded, stepping forward. "It's me, General. We don't have much time. The Quillari invasion force is." "We're well aware of the invasion, Captain," Vasquez interrupted, her voice tight with stress and fatigue. "What we don't know is what the hell happened to you and Lieutenant Patel. You were reported MIA weeks ago, and now you show up looking like this." Maya took a deep breath, knowing how insane their story would sound. But with the fate of humanity hanging in the balance, there was no time for anything but the unvarnished truth. Over the next few minutes, she and Raj quickly recounted their abduction, their transformation, and everything they had learned about the Quillari and their energy harvesting agenda. They explained about the Guardians, the cosmic balance, and the potential awakening of powered individuals across the globe. When they finished, a heavy silence fell over the room. General Vasquez's face was a mask of disbelief and grim determination. "If what you're saying is true," she said slowly, "then this isn't just an invasion. It's an extinction event." Maya nodded solemnly. "But it's also an opportunity. The Quillari's actions have accelerated human evolution. If we can find a way to awaken and unite these new powered individuals, we might stand a chance." Vasquez's eyes narrowed. And how do you propose we do that? Our communications are in shambles, our military is on the brink of collapse, and we have no way to identify or reach these awakened humans. An idea began to form in Maya's mind, born from her newfound understanding of energy and cosmic forces. Maybe we do, she said, her voice growing excited. The Kulari ships, the technology they're using to harvest human energy, we might be able to reverse engineer it, use it to send out a signal that only awakened humans can hear. Raj caught on quickly, his own eyes lighting up with possibility. A call to arms, he said. A way to unite Earth's defenders and turn the tide of the invasion. General Vasquez still looked skeptical, but there was a glimmer of hope in her eyes. Even if we could do that, we'd need access to Kulari tech, and in case you haven't noticed, we're not exactly in a position to go shopping for alien artifacts. Maya smiled, a plan already forming. Leave that to us, General. Raj and I can get what we need. But we'll need you to coordinate Earth's remaining forces, prepare them for a counterattack like nothing in human history. For a long moment, Vasquez studied Maya and Raj, weighing the insanity of their plan against the desperate reality of Earth's situation. Finally, she nodded. All right, Captain, you've got your shot. But make it quick. We're running out of time and options. With the General's blessing, Maya and Raj prepared for their daring mission. They requisitioned what equipment they could from the base's armory, though they both knew their greatest weapons were the cosmic powers they were only beginning to understand. As they made final preparations, Maya pulled Raj aside. This isn't going to be easy, she said quietly. We're going up against an entire invasion fleet with nothing but our wits and these new abilities we barely understand. Raj met her gaze steadily, his own eyes glowing with inner power. I know, but what choice do we have? It's not just Earth at stake here, it's the future of our entire species. We have to try. Maya nodded, feeling a surge of pride and affection for her friend and comrade. Then let's go save the world. They made their way to the base's hidden hangar, where a prototype stealth jet sat waiting. It wasn't designed for the kind of mission they had in mind, but with their enhanced abilities, Maya was confident they could push the aircraft beyond its intended limits. As they strapped themselves in, alarms began blaring throughout the facility. General Vasquez's voice crackled over the intercom. Multiple bogies incoming. The Kulari have found us. Maya's hands flew over the controls, bringing the jet to life. Time to fly, she muttered, engaging the engines. The hangar doors slid open, revealing a sky filled with descending Kulari ships. Maya gunned the engines, and the stealth jet shot forward, threading the needle between two massive alien vessels. Hold on, she shouted to Rage as she pushed the aircraft into a series of impossible maneuvers, her enhanced reflexes allowing her to fly in ways no human pilot had ever attempted. Energy beams lanced past them, filling the air with deadly light. Raj focused his powers on reinforcing their shields, his mind interfacing directly with the jet's systems to squeeze every ounce of performance from their overtaxed defenses. As they climbed higher into the atmosphere, Maya reached out with her cosmic senses, searching for their target. There, a massive Kulari command ship hovering at the edge of space, coordinating the invasion. That's our ticket, she said grimly. If we can get aboard that ship, we'll have access to everything we need. Raj nodded, his face set with determination. Then let's introduce ourselves. Maya angled their jet towards the command ship, pushing the engines beyond their safe limits. The spacecraft groaned and shuddered around them, threatening to tear itself apart. We're not going to make it, Raj shouted over the din of straining metal and alarms. Maya gritted her teeth, reaching deep within herself to tap into the well of cosmic power the Guardians had awakened. Yes, we are, she growled. Energy coursed from her body into the jet itself, enveloping the craft in a cocoon of shimmering force. The laws of physics seemed to bend around them as Maya exerted her will on reality itself. With a final burst of speed that should have been impossible, they slammed into the side of the Kulari command ship. But instead of a fiery explosion, They phased through the vessel's hull, their jet rematerializing inside a cavernous hangar bay. Alarms blared as Maya and Raj stumbled from their hijacked aircraft, disoriented but alive. Kulari soldiers were already converging on their position, energy weapons primed to fire. Maya raised her hands, cosmic power crackling between her fingers. Beside her, Raj's eyes glowed with inner fire as he prepared for battle. "Remember," Maya said, her voice steady despite the chaos around them, "we're not here to fight a war. We're here to end one." With that, they charged forward, their bodies wreathed in otherworldly energy. The fate of humanity hung in the balance, and they were the only ones who could tip the scales. As energy blasts filled the air and the tide of alien soldiers closed in around them, Maya allowed herself a grim smile. The real battle for Earth's future was about to begin. The tables turn, exploiting alien weaknesses. The interior of the Kulari command ship was a maze of organic corridors and pulsating energy conduits. Maya and Raj fought their way through waves of alien defenders, their newly awakened powers giving them an edge against the technologically superior foe. Maya's hands danced through the air, manipulating gravitational forces to send Kulari soldiers flying into walls or each other. Raj, meanwhile, had discovered an ability to absorb and redirect energy attacks, turning the aliens' own weapons against them. "We need to find the ship's central control hub," Maya shouted over the din of battle. "That's where we'll be able to access their harvesting technology and communication systems." Raj nodded, his eyes scanning the alien architecture around them. "I think I can sense it," he said, his voice tinged with wonder at his expanding abilities. "It's like a nexus of energy, pulling everything towards it." They fought their way deeper into the ship, following Raj's intuition. The resistance grew fiercer with each step, a clear sign they were heading in the right direction. As they rounded a corner, they found themselves face to face with a familiar figure, Zixlith, the Harvester Prime. The alien's 4 eyes blazed with a mixture of fury and fascination. "You continue to surprise me, humans," Zixlith said, its voice resonating in their minds. "I didn't think your kind capable of such evolution." Maya stepped forward, her body crackling with cosmic energy. "There's a lot about humanity you don't understand, Zixlith. We're more than just a source of energy for you to harvest. We're a force of nature." The alien's body rippled in what might have been laughter. "A force of nature, perhaps, but nature can be tamed, harnessed, as we will harness you." With blinding speed, Zixlith lashed out with tendrils of pure energy. Maya barely had time to raise a defensive shield, the impact still sending her skidding backward. Raj retaliated, launching a barrage of absorbed energy blasts at the Harvester Prime. But Zixlith moved with impossible grace, dodging or deflecting each attack. "You've grown strong," the alien admitted, "but you're still children playing with forces beyond your comprehension. I have lived for millennia, harvested the essence of 1,000 worlds. What hope do you have against such power?" Maya gritted her teeth, pushing herself back to her feet. "Hope? We have the hope of every human fighting for survival on the planet below. We have the strength of a species that refuses to be extinguished." She reached deep within herself, tapping into the wellspring of cosmic power the Guardians had awakened. The air around her began to shimmer and distort as she exerted her will on the fabric of reality itself. Zixlith's eyes widened in genuine alarm. "What are you doing? You can't possibly control." The alien's words were cut short as Maya unleashed her power. The corridor around them seemed to twist and warp, gravity fluctuating wildly. Raj, understanding Maya's intent, added his own abilities to the mix, creating a swirling vortex of energy that engulfed them all. For a moment, the world became a kaleidoscope of impossible colors and mind-bending geometries. When reality snapped back into focus, they found themselves in the heart of the Kulari command ship, the central control hub. Zixlith stumbled, disoriented by the sudden translocation. Maya seized the opportunity, unleashing a blast of pure cosmic force that sent the alien crashing into a bank of pulsating organic computers. "Reg, now," Maya shouted. "Access their systems." Rage didn't hesitate. He placed his hands on the nearest console, his eyes glowing as he interfaced directly with the alien technology. Information flooded his mind: schematics, battle plans, and most importantly, the secrets of the Kulari's energy harvesting process. "I've got it," he said, his voice strained with the effort of processing the vast amounts of data. "But Maya, it's worse than we thought. They're not just planning to harvest Earth. They're going to use our planet as a staging ground to launch attacks on other worlds. Billions of lives across the galaxy are at stake." Maya's heart sank at the news, but she pushed aside her dismay. They had a job to do. "Can you reverse the harvesting technology? Use it to broadcast a signal to the awakened humans on Earth?" Reg nodded, his fingers flying over the alien controls with increasing confidence. "I think so. But it's going to take time, and it's going to draw a lot of power. We'll be exposing ourselves to the entire Kulari fleet." "Do it," Maya ordered. "I'll hold them off." As Raj worked feverishly to repurpose the alien technology, Maya turned her attention back to Sixlith. The Harvester Prime had recovered from the initial assault and was gathering its power for a counterattack. "You're too late," Sixlith snarled. "Even if you manage to awaken more of your kind, it won't be enough. The harvest has already begun. Earth will fall, and the Kulari will feast on the essence of humanity for generations to come." Maya stood her ground, cosmic energy swirling around her like a protective aura. "You're wrong, Sixlith. Humanity isn't just going to roll over and die. We're going to fight, and we're going to win." The alien launched a barrage of energy attacks, each blast powerful enough to vaporize a normal human. But Maya was far from normal now. She dodged and weaved, her enhanced reflexes allowing her to stay just ahead of the deadly assault. As she fought, Maya's mind raced, piecing together everything she had learned about the Kulari and their technology. There had to be a weakness, some flaw in their seemingly impenetrable defenses. And then, in a moment of clarity, she saw it. The Kulari's greatest strength, their ability to harvest and manipulate energy, was also their greatest vulnerability. They were so attuned to the flow of power that they had become dependent on it. Disrupt that flow, and their entire system would come crashing down. "Raj," Maya called out, narrowly avoiding another of Sixlith's attacks. "The harvesting technology, can you reverse it completely? Turn it into a feedback loop?" Ray's eyes widened as he grasped her plan. "It's risky," he warned. "If we do that, it could cause a chain reaction through their entire fleet. The energy release would be catastrophic." Maya nodded grimly. "Do it. It's our only chance." As Raj worked to reconfigure the alien systems, Maya redoubled her efforts against Sixlith. She wasn't trying to defeat the Harvester Prime now, just keep it distracted long enough for their plan to work. "You're only delaying the inevitable," Sixlith taunted, its attacks growing more frenzied. "Your species will be consumed, your potential added to the glory of the Kulari collective." Maya managed a defiant smile. "Sorry to disappoint you, but humanity's got other plans." At that moment, Raj shouted in triumph. "It's done. Maya, get clear." She didn't need to be told twice. Maya launched herself across the control room, tackling Raid and enveloping them both in a protective energy field just as the repurposed harvesting technology activated. For a split second, nothing seemed to happen. Then, with a sound like reality itself tearing apart, a wave of energy erupted from the heart of the ship. Maya watched in awe as Sixlith's body began to glow, the alien's own vast reserves of harvested energy turning against it. "What have you done?" The Harvester Prime screamed, its form beginning to unravel under the onslaught of power. The energy wave expanded outward, passing through the ship's hull and spreading to the rest of the Kulari fleet. Everywhere it touched, alien technology began to malfunction, overload, and explode. But the effect wasn't limited to the invaders. Down on Earth, humans who had been touched by the Qulari's experiments felt a sudden surge of power. All across the globe, ordinary people found themselves awakening to extraordinary abilities. In the chaos of the moment, Maya reached out with her cosmic senses, feeling the web of connection spreading across her home planet. She could sense the confusion, the fear, but also the growing realization of the power now at humanity's fingertips. "It's working," she breathed, scarcely able to leave it. "Raj, we did it. We've given Earth a fighting chance." But their victory was far from assured. The Qulari command ship was beginning to break apart around them, and the rest of the alien fleet was in disarray. They needed to get back to Earth to help coordinate the counterattack and ensure that humanity's newfound powers were used wisely. "We need to go," Raj said urgently, gesturing at the disintegrating ship around them. "This whole place is going to blow." Maya nodded, reaching out to create another spatial warp. But before she could complete the process, a tendril of energy wrapped around her ankle. She looked down to see Zixlith, its body barely holding together, clinging to her with the last of its strength. "If I am to fall," the Harvester Prime growled, "you will fall with me." Maya struggled against the alien's grip, but Zixlith's desperation lent it impossible strength. She could feel herself being pulled away from Raj, away from their chance at escape. "Maya," Raj shouted, reaching for her. But the spatial warp was already forming, and he was being pulled into it. "Go," Maya yelled back. "Get to Earth. Coordinate the defense. I'll find another way." The last thing she saw was Raj's anguished face as the warp enveloped him, sending him hurtling back towards their embattled homeworld. Then the Qulari command ship gave a final, shuddering groan and began to come apart at the seams. Maya turned to face Zixlith, cosmic power blazing in her eyes. "If this is how it ends," she said, her voice steady despite the chaos around them, "then so be it. But humanity will live on. We'll face whatever comes next, and we'll do it on our own terms." As the ship disintegrated around them, Maya reached deep within herself, calling upon every ounce of power the Guardians had awakened. She didn't know if she could survive the vacuum of space, didn't know if her abilities were enough to save her from the coming explosion. But she knew she had to try. For Earth, for humanity, for the future they had fought so hard to protect. With a final titanic effort, Maya unleashed her power. The world around her dissolved into pure energy, and for a moment that stretched into eternity, she felt herself becoming one with the cosmic forces she had only begun to understand. Then, everything went white.